Most religious and even many non-religious people believe that a person has a soul, some kind of immaterial entity that forms our self-awareness and individuality. At what point in life, in terms of Abrahamic beliefs, does she appear? And what does science say about this? The concept of soul is an exclusively theological and philosophical term. Science cannot yet empirically confirm or deny the existence of the soul. In the Abrahamic religions, the soul refers to the immortal nature of man, which carries high feelings, reason and will. After death, she continues her immaterial existence in heaven, hell or purgatory. This is an intermediate space for Catholics and Muslims. Christians are confident that after the Last Judgment, souls will be reunited with rebelled bodies and continue eternal life in a material form. From a philosophical point of view, most atheist Europeans adhere to Plato's theory of the soul. It consists in recognizing the existence of an incorporeal entity that continues to live and think even after the death of the body. Representatives of the Platonic school believed in reincarnation and divided the soul into three parts. Logos, this is the mind that is in the head, thymos, the will located in the chest, and eros, feelings born in the stomach. The largest Christian movements adhere to the creationist concept of soul acquisition. It consists in the fact that the soul is created by God from the void during the formation of the fetus. The position of the Orthodox Church was presented by Metropolitan Hilarion of Volokolamsk of the Moscow Patriarchate. Despite the fact that there is no exact answer in the Bible to the question of when exactly an embryo has a soul, it is generally believed that this happens at the moment of conception. It is widely believed among Catholics that the soul is given to the infant in the middle of the mother's pregnancy, approximately in the 4th month of fetal development. At the same time, the woman begins to feel signs of a new life inside herself. Protestants have different points of view. For example, Pentecostals and Baptists believe that the soul is formed at the moment of the birth of a child. Lutherans adhere to traditionalism. The soul is formed together with the fetus, absorbing copies of the elements of the souls of the parents. Thus, parents transmit not only material inheritance in the form of genes, but also spiritual inheritance. In addition, there is an alternative theory of pre-existence. The concept is recognized as heretical. Early Christian authors such as Origen and Tertullian believed that all souls were created by the Lord from the beginning. It is claimed that they inhabit the body at the moment of birth with the help of angels. In addition, after death, souls can reincarnate if there is an appropriate container for them. The books for Muslims indicate the soul enters the child's body on the 120th day after conception. At the same time, they believe that the soul itself is created by Allah long before conception. God knows who, where and when should be born, and therefore prepares the soul in advance. According to the Jewish Rabbi Eliyahu Esses, at the moment of conception, a man and a woman transfer the energy of spiritual properties to the fetus. Intelligence, intuition and will. The soul itself, the individuality, is made by God. It is placed in the body of the embryo on the 40th day after conception. And what does science say about this? John Joe McFadden, professor of molecular genetics and director of the Center for Quantum Biology at the University of Surrey, is confident that the soul is an electromagnetic field created by our central nervous system. This field can be recorded, for example, using electro- and magnetoencephalograph. It is formed from pulses of electric current that occur in neurons. McFadden believes that each person has an individual field and it reflects our thoughts, feelings, and character. Accordingly, the soul is formed during the development of the fetus and continues to improve after birth. Professors Stuart Hameroff and Roger Penrose from the universities of Oxford and Arizona consider the soul in the form of quantum energy, which is concentrated in our brain. According to scientists, after death, this energy does not disappear, but is absorbed into the fabric of the universe. It is worth noting that both theories are recognized as marginal and have not received recognition. Faith in the soul is like faith in God. Nowadays, when communicating with people, when asked do you believe in God, quite often you hear such arguments: I believe in God, but in my own way. I believe in my soul, and this is the main thing. It is not necessary to go to the temple, or I have God in my heart, and that's enough. This is what most people who consider themselves believers and consider themselves orthodox say. But such excuses are just a Christian mask, behind which a person hides so that no one asks him unnecessary questions. After all, everything is clear. I believe in my soul. But it is obvious that in most cases this phrase implies a slightly different meaning. Don't touch me. I don't want to talk about it. In connection with such a life position, a legitimate question arises. Does such a faith in the soul have anything to do with Christianity and true faith in God? It is quite obvious that there is not. Such faith of our contemporaries is limited only to the recognition of the fact of the existence of God, and not many of them can clearly say which God they believe in, what kind of God he is, what his properties are, and why he is needed at all. The same vague knowledge about God that is still available is most often pulled from vague and rather suspicious sources. Someone's stories, newspapers, TV shows. Such knowledge remains a theory, without changing a person's life at all. Have you probably had a feeling that you have ever been sincerely mistaken? Maybe you were mistaken about some person. Maybe you were mistaken about some kind of purchase. Or maybe in the course of your life you abandoned some beliefs that seemed to you the only true ones. People don't tend to admit their mistakes. It is difficult and unpleasant. But the reality is that millions of people are mistaken in their faith today. Are you sure that what you believe is the truth? No one wants to be deceived. The problem is that if you don't examine faith for truth, then how do you know that it is true? It can be said that I can explore faith on my own. Why can't I still believe in God in my soul? The answer is very simple. Someone has to evaluate your faith from the outside. It is necessary to talk about faith. It is necessary to put your faith to the test. It is necessary to grow in faith. Otherwise, it turns out that everyone on this earth has their own faith. Everyone will believe in something different. And if everyone believes in something different, then how do you even understand what the truth is? In fact, no faith gives anything in essence. Believers have no faith, but there are certain ideas that are similar to the faith of children in Santa Claus. Such faith is worse than atheism because it creates the illusion of knowledge that does not exist. Similarly, believers cannot say anything intelligible about the soul. In fact, a person needs accurate knowledge, not vague faith. You need to learn to see your soul, and not just talk about it blindly. The soul can see everything, including the Creator. Therefore, the answer will be like this. He who sees his soul can also see the Creator. There is absolutely no faith here. People develop and gain this ability regardless of religions, churches, the Bible, teachings, and so on.